This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, discounted prices, miniaturemarket.com. Hello my friends, the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be pushing our luck, going through different doors, we're going to be looting and running away in these different chambers in these pyramids. And we're going to be trying to get treasure, but hopefully getting away from the monsters. Today we're talking about Loot and Run. It's a very quick 20-minute game for 2 to 6 players from yellow. Press your luck. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Loot and Run, you're trying to be the first person to get all the way to 35 points by cashing in as much treasure and loot and running away from the monsters. On your turn, you have 3 possible choices. Number 1 is to draw a card from one of the 2 stacks in the game. Green typically means that there's less monsters. There's only 1 in every 4 cards has a monster. You don't really want monsters, but sometimes they have more treasures. The yellow is like medium. There's about 1 in every 3 cards is a monster. And sometimes there's red cards, which is basically 1 of every 2 cards has a monster on there. So you can be safe and go here, or you can go here. So let's be safe. I would take this and I would secretly look at it and not show anybody. But then I'm going to show you my card anyway. This has a mummy. It's a monster. I don't like a monster. And I have 2 treasures there. So I'm going to keep this face down in front of me. And then it would be the next person's turn. It would go all the way around. Now, when it comes back to me, ooh, look at this red one. Let's take this one. I'll just take this red one. Hey, 2 treasures, no monster. I lucked out there. Now, I would take that. Now, let's say I think that somebody else might have a monster. Maybe they have a bunch of reds and yellows in front of them, and I want to call them out. I can basically awaken. So on my turn, instead of pulling a card like normal, I can point to any opponent, and I can only do this if I have at least 1 card. Unless you're playing with 2 players, and then you can do it whenever you want. But normally, as long as I have 1 card in front of me, I can point at another player and say, I'm going to awaken your monsters and cards, flip them over. So let's say a player flipped over his cards. Now there's 2 things here. We have monsters, 3 different types, and we have amulets. If when that player flips up, there is at least as many amulets as monsters, in this case 3 and 3, he's clear. The amulets took care of the monsters, and he gets to cash all of this treasure as points, and then that was my turn. I used up my turn to try to screw him over, and he put it right back to me. So that was my whole turn. I didn't get to do anything else. But this player, because he has this, gets to cash everything in. Now, what happens is you count up the treasures. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. But here I have, as long as I have the same treasure on more than 1 card, I can double it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12, because I have this on more than 1 card. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That would have been a ginormous turn of 17 points for that player. And he could have moved, if this was the first turn of the game, he could have moved all the way to 17. You're only getting to 35. Now let's say that player had 1 less amulet, and he actually had 1 more monster than amulets. That player is caught. He would discard all these cards, but you get the special ability of any of the monsters that are there in the order of mummy, and then the werewolf, and then the Frankenstein. Now, so what the mummy does is immediately scores that player's cards as though it took your action. So I would have gotten to score all of these. This would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I would have been able to score his 15 cards, and that's the mummy. I also would have been able to draw 2 cards from the deck, keep 1, or basically keep 1 and discard the others. And then Frank, I get to take another turn. So this would have been huge if I caught him with all 3 different monsters. That would have been it, and then it would have been someone else's turn. So on your turn, you're either drawing a card from one of these 2, you're calling somebody else out, making them flip their cards, or you can run yourself. Now in this case, I ran myself because I knew I had a bunch of monsters and no amulets, and I figured someone was going to catch me, so I ran. I get to flip over my cards and score them even if I have more monsters than amulets. And here I would have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, doubled because they're in more than 1 card, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, huge turn there. These would all have been discarded, and I would have gotten 14 points. This continues till 1 player gets 35 points. At that time, all the rest of the players flip over their cards and score those as well, and whoever has the most points is the winner. With 6 players, you only play till 30, but that's pretty much it. Now this is a quick press your luck game, and it's one I enjoyed quite a bit. It's got some interesting things. I mean, you've got 3 choices on your turn. Am I going to take a card? Am I going to run away and just get my goods? or am I going to call somebody else out? And even though those 3 choices seem simple, and they are, the interactions with the other player are fun. You're going around, you're looking at who's in the lead, and you're like, huh, that guy has 2 red cards and a yellow card. He's got to have a monster. Flip your stuff. And they flip it over. He's like, ha ha ha, I have no monsters. Or I had as many amulets as monsters, and they take all their treasure. Or sometimes you see a dude like, a bunch of greens, and he's sitting there, and you can tell he's sweating, and you're like, flip him over. He flips it over, you're like, oh man, you get to do some of those special abilities. You get to maybe score their cards or take another turn. And it's fun. You're trying to figure out who looks like they're the most greediest, or who looks like they're in the most trouble. You kind of read their body language in their face when they draw a card. I like when you draw a card, you get 2 choices. I like how the cards are, green, yellow, red, where green has, 1 in 4 monsters, where up to red has 1 in every other monster. Every other card is a monster. It's a good, fun little press your luck game. It's quick. I would recommend it to any family that's looking for a fun, light, quick, press your luck game. It's definitely fun. I can recommend it. Now, it's probably going to be compared to the best game, in my opinion, in this genre, which is Ink and Gold. Is it better than that? That's a tough one. I'm leaning towards no, but it's very good. So if you don't have either of these, whatever theme you think fits you well, you can go play a couple more players, think up to 8. This plays up to 6. This is a little more interesting with less players, I'd say, maybe than Ink and Gold. Ink and Gold, I think, shines better with more and more players, although this does too. They're both great. I think Ink and Gold still has that nab. It just has the artifacts and certain things like that. But this is a very good, solid push your luck game. If you're looking for a family level game like this, or a quick one to start or end the night, Loot and Run is a good one from Yellow.
This video was sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, video, and written game reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, the online gaming superstore. Thousands of board games, discounted prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.